Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back at it once again. It's supposed to give fun days for you and for yours, you know what I'm saying? And I like to give credit to my ancestors for giving me the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to do with these things. And also like to thank y'all because the channel is growing, people subscribing. Much love to you and yours on that one. And I'm very grateful and humble that people, taking the time to listen and watch the videos. Now this one is called Blackwater Down. This is kind of old, but I'm just doing this to remind people what it is. You know what I'm saying? And about what kind of stuff we're facing. You know, this is, like I said, Blackwater Down, September 22nd, 2005, and this originally came from the nation. The man from Blackwater, USA, arrived in New Orleans right after Hurricane Katrina hit. The company, known for its private security guarding senior U.S. diplomats in Iraq, beat the federal government and most aid organizations to the scene of another devastated Gulf. About 150 heavily armed Blackwater troops, dressed in battle gear, spread out in the chaos of New Orleans. Officially, the company boasts of its forces joining the hurricane relief effort, but its man on the ground told a different story. Some patrolled the streets in SUVs with tinted windows and the Blackwater logo splashed in the back. Others sped around the French quarters in unmarked cars with no license plates. They congregated on the corner of St. James and Bourbon on the front of a bar called 7-Eleven, where Blackwater was able to establish a makeshift headquarters. From the balcony above the bar, several Blackwater guys had cleared out what apparently been someone's apartment. They threw mattresses, clothes, shoes, and other household items from the balcony to the street below. They draped an American flag on the balcony railing. More than a dozen troops from the 82nd Airborne Division stood in formation on the streets watching the action. Armed men shuffled in and out of the building with a handful told stories of their past experience in Iraq. "I work security there for both Bremer and Negroponte," said one Blackwater guy, referring to the head of the U.S. occupation, L. Paul Bremer, and the former U.S. ambassador to Iraq, John Negroponte. Another complained while talking on the cell phone that he was only getting $350 a day plus his per diem. "When they told me New Orleans, I said, 'Yeah, what country's that in?' he said. He wore his company ID around his neck just in case of the phrase, Operation Iraqi Freedom, printed on it. In an hour-long conversation I had with four Blackwater men, they characterized their work in New Orleans as securing neighborhoods and confronting criminals. They all carried automatic assault rifles and had guns strapped to their legs. Their flak vests were covered with pouches of extra ammo. When asked what authorities they were operating under, one guy said, "We're under contract with Homeland Security." Then pointed to one of his comrades. He said, "He was even deputized by the governor of the state of Louisiana. We can make arrests and use lethal force if we deem necessary." The man then held up a gold Louisiana law enforcement badge he wore around his neck. Blackwater spokesman Annie Duke also said that the company has a letter from Louisiana officials authorizing this force to carry loaded weapons. This vigilante is demonstrated the other breakdown of government, says Michael Radner, president of the Center of Constitutional Rights. These private security forces have behaved brutally with impunity in Iraq. To then have them now on the streets of New Orleans is frightening and possibly illegal. Blackwater is not alone, as business leaders and government officials talk openly of changing the demographics of what is the most culturally vibrant of American cities. Let me read this again. Blackwater is not alone, as business leaders and government officials talk openly about changing the demographics of what was once the most culturally vibrant of American cities. And as we know, New Orleans was mostly black at this time. Mercenaries from companies like Dino Corp, Intercom, American Security Group, Blackwater, Whack and Hunt, and an Israeli company called Instinctive Shooting International, ISI, are fading out on the ground to guard private businesses and homes, as well as government projects and institutions. Within 2 weeks of the hurricane, the number of private security companies registered in Louisiana jumped from 185 to 235. Some, like Blackwater, are under federal contract. Others have been hired by the wealthy elite by F. Patrick Quinn III, who brought up private security to guard his $3 million private estate and his luxury hotels, which are under consideration for a lucrative federal contract to house FEMA workers. Hmm. A possibly deadly incident involving Quinn hired guns in the school of dangers of private forces policing American streets. On the second night in New Orleans, Quinn security chief Michael Montgomery, who said he worked for Alabama company called Bodyguards and Tactical Services, BATS, was with a heavy armed security en route detail en route to pick up one of Quinn's associates and escort him through the chaotic city. Montgomery told me they came under fire from black gangbangers on an overpass near the poor Ninth Ward neighborhood. At this time, I was on my phone with my business partner, he recalls. I dropped the phone and returned fire. Montgomery said he and this man were armed with AR-15s and Glocks that they had unleashed a barrage of bullets in the general direction of the alleged shooters on the overpass. After that, all we heard was moaning and screaming, and the shooting stopped. That was it. Enough, said. Then Montgomery said the army showed up yelling at us thinking that we were the enemy, and we explained to them that we were security. I had told them what had happened, and they didn't even care. They just left. 5 minutes later, Montgomery said Louisiana state troopers arrived on the scene, inquiring about the incident, and then asked him for directions on how they can get to the city, out of the city. Montgomery said there was no one ever asking for any more details of the incident, and no report was ever made. One thing about security, Montgomery says, is that we coordinate with each other, one family. That coordination doesn't include officers of the Secretary of State of Louisiana and Alabama, which has no record of BATS company. A few miles away from the French Quarter, another wealthy New Orleans businessman, James Reese, who serves in Mayor Ray Nagin's administration as chairman of the city's Regional Transit Authority, brought in some heavy guns to garner an elite gated community of Auburn Place. Israeli mercenaries dressed in black and armed with M16s. 2 Israelis patrolling the gates outside. Auburn told me they had served as professional soldiers in the Israeli military, and one both had participated in the invasion of Lebanon. We have been fighting the Palestinians all day, every day, our whole lives, one of them told me. Here in New Orleans, we're not guarded from terrorists. Then tapping on the machine gun, he says, most Americans, when they see these things, they are scared enough. They are enough to be scared of them. The men working for ICE was described as employees as veterans of Israeli Special Task Forces from the following Israeli government bodies: Israel Defense Force, the IDF, Israel National Police Counterterrorism Units, Instructor of Israel National Police Counterterrorism Units, General Security Service, GSS or Shin Bet, other restricted intelligence agency. The company was formed in 1993. Its website profile says uphold the up-to-date services to meet the challenges of the need of homeland security preparedness and overseas combat procedures and readiness. ISI is currently involved an approved vendor of the U.S. government to supply homeland security with services. Unlike ISI or BATS, Blackwater operates under a federal contract which provides 164 armed guards for the FEMA Reconstitution Project in Louisiana. That contract was announced days after the Homeland Security Department spokesperson, Russ Knock, told the Washington Post he knew of no federal plans to hire Blackwater or other private security firms. We believe we got the right mix of personnel of law enforcement for federal government to meet the demands of public safety, he said. Before the contract was announced, the Blackwater man told me they were already in contact with DHS and they were sleeping in camps organized by the federal agency. One might ask, given the enormous presence in New Orleans of the National Guard, U.S. Army, U.S. Border Patrol, local police from all around the country, and practically every other government agency with badges, why private security agency companies are needed, particularly to guard federal projects. It strikes me that they may not be the best use of money, said Illinois Senator Barack Obama. Blackwater's success in procuring federal contracts could be explained by major league contributions and family connections to the GOP. According to election records, Blackwater CEO and founder, billionaire Eric Prince, has given tens of thousands to Republicans, including $80,000 to the Republican National Committee the month before Bush victory in 2000. This past June, he gave $2,100 to Senator Rick Transform's re-election campaign. He has also given to House Majority Leader Tom DeLay and a slew of other Republican candidates including Bush Cheney in 2004. As a young man, Prince ended term with Bush, President George H.W. Bush, and he had complained at the time that he saw a lot of things he didn't agree with. Homosexual groups are being invited in, the budget agreement, the Clear Air Act, those kind of bills. I think the administration has been indifferent to a lot of conservative concerns. Prince, a staunch right-wing Christian, comes from a powerful Michigan Republican family, and his father, Edgar, was a close friend of the former Republican president candidate and anti-choice leader Gary Bauer. In 1988, Elder Prince helped Bauer start the Family Research Council. Eric Prince's sister, Bessie, once chaired the Michigan Republican Party and is married to Dick DeVoe, whose father, billionaire Richard DeVoe, is co-founder of the major Republican benefactor Amway. Dick DeVoe is also a big-time contributor to the Republican Party and will be likely a GOP candidate for governor in 2006. Another Blackwater founder is President Gary Jackson. He is also a major contributor to Republican campaigns. After the killing of 4 Blackwater mercenaries in Fallujah in March 2004, Eric Prince hired Alexander Strategy Group, a PR firm with close ties to GOPers like DeLay. By mid-November, the company was reporting 600% growth. In February 2005, the company hired Ambassador Cofer Black, a former coordinator for counterterrorism at the State Department and a former director of the CIA Counterterrorism Center, as vice chairman. Just as hurricane was hitting, Blackwater parent company, the Prince Group, named Joseph Smits, who had just resigned the Pentagon Inspector General, as the group chief operating council officer and general counsel. While the juice of the firm's political connections, Prince has been advocating greater use of private security in international operations, arguing at a synopsis of the National Defense Industrial Association earlier this year that firms like his are more efficient than the military. In May, Blackwater Jackson testified before Congress in an effort to gain a lucrative Homeland Security contracts to train 2,000 new Border Patrol agents, saying Blackwater understands the value of the government one-stop shop. With President Bush using Katrina disaster to try to repeal the Pauses Connors ban, the ban on using U.S. troops in domestic law enforcement, and Blackwater and other security firms clearly initiating a push to install their paramilitaries on U.S. soil. The war is coming home, and yet in another ominous way, said one Black Armed mercenary. This is a trend. You're going to see a lot more guys like us in these situations. And there you have it. As you see, the Republican, right-wing Christian, foundation of this group, so it's already pro-white, you know what I'm saying? And like they said, they went around and they shot up black gangbangers, according to him. That's what he's called them. And they come to find out this group is not even registered. It's just a Southern paramilitary that was on active on duty on active during that time in Hurricane Katrina. And don't think this shit has stopped, because it hasn't really stopped like that. This is how the Klan got down. This was this is the Klan. This is like basically legalizing the Klan. You know what I'm saying? Which they done did before. Like I said, we done got deputized. We done got everything. You know what I'm saying? It didn't care who they shot or who they killed. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to read that part of the story again. On the second night in New Orleans, Quinn security chief Michael Montgomery, who said he worked for Alabama company called Bodyguards Tactical Security, called BATS, was with a heavy armed security detail en route to pick up one of Quinn's associates and escort him through the chaotic city. Montgomery told me they came under fire from black gangbangers on an overpass near the Poor Ninth Ward neighborhood. At that time, I was on my phone with my partner, he recalls. I dropped phone and returned fire. Montgomery said he and his man were armed with AR-15s and Glocks, and they unleashed a barrage of bullets in the general direction of the last shooters on the overpass. And there they lay. You feel me? They didn't give a damn. Also, they got Israeli services with even more crazy over here. Having like a foreign army entity over here on United States soil. But as I said before, this is part of the plan, and they meant to it to change the cultural dynamics of the city. Which they made nothing new. What they said it was nothing new about. They were gonna change the city and the cultural dynamics of it. So we gotta be on guard. You know what I'm saying? Of the things they do. and things they go through. You know what I'm saying? Because this is kind of by design. Let me read it one more time. Blackwater is not alone, as business leaders and government officials talk openly of changing the demographics of what was once one of the most culturally vibrant American cities. Now, it's not like that no more. New Orleans and changed. It's not even like that no more. No, they done swept the whole city away, so they done did their part. So let's just tell you, they using things like that. You gotta put your head on the swivel and think deeper. Anyway, this is Coast Get Fun Day. Much love to you and yours, and subscribe to the channel. Peace.